Assalamualaikum sir. Today we are going to present about our group project, which is comparing Harmony OS with Android and its features, challenges and opportunities. First of all, let me introduce our group member. First there is Zakwan, me, Meor, Haziq and Zikri. Now, we move to the introduction. Operating system are essential in today's computer environment because they act as the bridge between hardware and software, managing resources and enabling communication across devices. Android, which is developed by Google, has become the most widely used mobile operating system in the world. Its success is largely due to the strong ecosystem and a wide range of tools that support developers. On the other hand, we have Harmony OS, which is developed by Huawei. It's a newer platform built on a microkernel architecture. What makes Harmony OS unique is focused on a distributed system which aiming to provide a consistent experience across different type of device like smartphone, smartwatch, TV and even IoT product. The main difference between Android and Harmony OS are discussed in this assignment, along with how each manage development environments, device communication and system architecture. We want to find out which platform offers developers more opportunities and fewer obstacles by contrasting their technical framework and ecosystem. In the end, this research highlights how these two systems support different technological goals and what it implies for software development going forward.
Alright. Now I will tell you the main difference between Harmony OS and Android. So the first aspect is based on the developer itself. So Harmony OS is developed by Huawei, and its main advantage is the self-reliance and independence. Huawei was compelled to accelerate the development of Harmony OS due to US sanctions back in 2020, which restrict its access to Google Mobile Service or GMS and key Android updates. This pushed Huawei towards a self-sufficiency in software development. Meanwhile, Android is being developed by Google and is being powered by the Open Source Foundation or AOSP. Android Core is the Android open source project or AOSP. This open source allows anyone to download, modify, and distribute the Android source code. This openness has fostered incredible innovation and customization across countless manufacturers. All right, next is the kernel aspect. Harmony OS, especially with Harmony OS Next, is built upon a microkernel and distributed architecture, often referred to as the Harmony OS kernel. In a microkernel, only the absolute essential functions like basic process scheduling, memory management, interprocess communication or IPC run in highly privileged kernel space. Everything else runs as separate process in the user space. The benefits of microkernel is the enhanced security by isolating components. A bug or vulnerability in a user space driver is less likely to crash the entire system or compromise the kernel. Other than the enhanced security is the greatest stability. If a service or driver crash, if it only affects the specific component and not the entire operating system, leading to a better overall system stability. Next is the Android part. Android is built upon a monolithic kernel. This is a well-established and proven architecture that has powered countless devices. In a monolithic kernel, the majority of the operating system service, including process management, memory management, device driver, and others, runs together in the privileged kernel space. The benefits of running as the monolithic is the high performance and efficiency. This because all core services are tightly integrated and run in the same memory space. Interprocess communication overhead is minimal, leading to fast execution and high performance. Alright, another main difference is based on its architecture. Since Harmony OS is using distributed architecture, it can use the super device concept where Harmony OS aims to integrate diverse devices from their phones and tablet to even their smartwatch, their smart home appliance, and even a car infotainment system into a single cohesive super device. Another thing is the distribute data management and task scheduling. Harmony OS can manage data consistently across multiple devices and intelligently schedule tasks on the most suitable device based on the available resource location and user context. For the Android side, it used the more traditional silo architecture or Linux-based layer architecture. This well-established model has allowed Android to scale globally across a massive number of devices. The benefit is the modularity. While the kernel itself is monolithic, Google has introduced efforts like to bring more modularity to the kernel, separating the core kernel from vendor-specific module. This aids in faster updates and better maintainability. Another thing is focus on app-centric. Android's architecture is heavily optimized for running a wide variety of applications efficiently on individual mobile devices. While there are efforts for cross-device experience, for example, like the Android Auto or the Wear OS for the smartwatch, they are often built as separate extension or specific device integration rather than being inherent to the core OS architecture, like Harmony OS itself. Right. The last major difference between Harmony OS and Android is their app development. Harmony OS is making quite an effort to build its own ecosystem, moving toward their native development, especially with their next generation operating system. So for Harmony OS, their primary programming language is RTS, their flagship language for the development, which is a superset of a TypeScript. Its RTS combined with the Art UI framework emphasize declarative UI paradigm. This means developer describe what a UI should look like, and the system handles how to render, simplifying complex UI layouts and making code more readable for the end user. Their IDE or their integrated development environment is the Dev Eco Studio. Huawei provides Dev Eco Studio as its official one-stop IDE for Harmony OS, and their app distribution is not from Google Play Store. It's their own app store, which is Huawei App Gallery, which is apps developed for Harmony OS are primarily distributed through it. And from the Android side of things, they have major two major framework programming languages, Kotlin and Java. Google has officially declared that Kotlin is their preferred language for Android apps development. Kotlin is a modern, concise, and safer language that is fully interoperable with Java, making it easy for developers to transition. Their IDE is using Android Studio as it's based on IntelliJ IDEA, is Google official and highly comprehensive IDE for Android development as is offered feature-rich as provides powerful code editing, debugging, performance profiling, and layouts editor, as well as a robust emulator for testing on various device configuration. Lastly, they distribute their apps through their own Google Play Store. The Google Play Store is the world's largest app marketplace and the primary distribution channel for Android application globally, as can reach billions of users across hundreds of countries.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Mohamad. Today I will be explaining about version 2, which is how Harmony OS and Android differently handle connection. Okay, so firstly, for the multi-device connectivity versus single device focus. Okay, so for Harmony OS is a multi-device connectivity using a multi-device connectivity. Okay, one of the key features in Harmony OS is its seamless multi-device connectivity. It is used a distributed architecture allowing devices like smartphone, smart TV, smartwatch, and IoT device to communicate and share resources. This means A device running Harmony OS can work together with others to create a unified experience. Okay, meanwhile, for Android primarily focus on individual device. While Android support Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and other standard protocols for connected device, the experience is less seamless across multiple devices compared to Harmony OS. Android devices are generally more siloed in terms of their connectivity, with less emphasis on creating a unified ecosystem. Okay, so next is a distributed data sharing. Okay, so for the Harmony OS, with this distributed architecture, Harmony OS allow device to share data, apps, and service in real time, enabling tasks like continuing a video on your TV after starting on your phone. It can also create a super device experience, while multiple devices can act as one, such as connecting a Huawei smartphone, tablet, laptop, and smart speakers seamlessly, as long as they use Harmony OS. Okay, meanwhile for Android has limited native distributed data sharing capability. While features like Google Cast, Android Auto enable some level of device interconnection, there is not a system-wide approach for device to work seamlessly together in the same way Harmony OS allows. The next for the device connection framework. Okay, so first, the Harmony OS use a unique connection framework where devices automatically recognize and pair with each other when they are within the proximity. This approach is based on its ability to treat all connected devices as a part of single ecosystem. For example, if you are playing music on your phone, you can easily switch to a connected smart speaker without having to reconfigure anything. Okay, meanwhile for Android also has a connection framework, but it tends to focus more on an individual service like Bluetooth pairing or casting. There is no universal standard in Android for handling multi-device connectivity in a seamless, unified way, as you can see in the Harmony OS. Okay, next for the proprietary protocol and API. Okay, so for the Harmony OS is proprietary protocol for device-to-device communication. For instance, Huawei has introduced features like Huawei Share, multi-screen collaboration, which allow for quick and easy connection between devices running Harmony OS or Huawei ecosystem. Okay, meanwhile for Android use widely accepted protocols like Bluetooth, NFC, and Wi-Fi Direct. While Google has developed Android-specific protocol for things like casting, data transfer, there is no native feature for managing connection across multiple types of devices like Harmony OS. Okay, lastly for the security and privacy. Okay, so for Harmony OS, with its distributed architecture, Harmony OS places a significant emphasis on security, ensuring that data sharing between devices is encrypted and secure. The OS relies on a unique security system that is designed to be more robust when dealing with multiple connected devices. Okay, so for Android also implements security measures such as data encryption and app permission. However, with more third-party app integration and wider use of the different device and ecosystem, Android security model is generally seen as more fragmented compared to the more centralized secure approach seen in Harmony OS.
Hello, sir. My name is Zakwan Imran bin Zulkifli, and I will express our thoughts on these two operating systems. So, based on our findings, we conclude that Android is a better operating system for developers. This is, of course, based on several advantages, but I want to focus on these two advantages that made us reach this decision. Well, the first one being for its flexibility, power, and large developer community, and the second one, which is cross-platform framework support. We move on to the first advantage, which is Android flexibility, power, and large developer community. Android has an open source operating system backed by Google, which provide developers with a high level of freedom to customize applications, access diverse levels APIs. What this means is that Android gives its developer much more freedom in developing. It also means that they can build experiences tailored to a vast range of hardware. For example, many big names company has used Android to create its own user interface, such as Samsung's One user interface and Xiaomi MIUI. On top of that, Android has a very large developer community, which make it much more stable. For Harmony OS, the OS are limited to Huawei's ecosystem only. This means that every development is restricted only to Huawei's ecosystem, which will make developers' freedom to develop are much more limited. Developers also need to follow Huawei's architecture and Huawei's mobile services when making an application. This makes many developers having troubles to develop something so limited and unfamiliar environment with the Huawei's ecosystem. From this aspect, we can say that Android is better for developers because it doesn't hold the developers to develop based on what they want, which is important for developers. The second advantage that Android had is cross-platform framework support. Android use native languages consist of Kotlin, Java, and C++. All of these native languages are widely used because for its ability to allow developers to share code across Android, iOS, web, and back-end system. For example, Kotlin works well with React Native and Flutter, which is famous among developers community. This makes Android highly flexible and future-proof. Meanwhile, Harmony OS uses ArcTS, which is TypeScript programming language, which is unfamiliar with many developers as it is a new language. This language is limited to its ecosystem and is only for Huawei's ecosystem only. It also lacks maturity and community support as it is newer than native languages used for Android. From this, we can see that Android is better for developers because of the framework support that Android had works well with many developers. To conclude everything that we have learned so far, Android uses a monolithic kernel and has more independent devices, meaning each device works on its own. And in contrast, Harmony uses a microkernel and connects devices more smoothly, allowing them to work together in a unified way. For developers, Android is more open and flexible as it uses programming languages like Kotlin, Java, and C++, which make it easier to build apps that works on different platforms. Harmony OS, however, uses ArcTS, a language that is limited to Huawei devices, which means developers can reach as many users. When it comes to device connectivity, Harmony OS allows devices to easily share data and work together, like continuing a video from your phone to your TV. Android, on the other hand, doesn't connect devices as smoothly. In terms of security, Harmony OS has a more centralized system for protecting data, where Android is more fragmented because of the variety of devices. All in all, Android is a better choice for developers because of its open, flexible, and works across different platforms. Harmony OS is still growing and is more limited in terms of tools and reach.